I'm just going to cover a few big topics that are happening right now, a few current events that are happening right now. Just a side note, Trump looks horrible. Horrible. I'm seeing like rumors that his vein condition thing, it's not great. Some people think he has months left to live. I don't know. But JD Vance, if you are paying attention, JD Vance, the interviews that he's doing, the tweets that he's putting out, it does seem like he's like ramping it up a little bit, taking a little bit more of like an assertive role. He's just more in the public recently, I feel like, especially over that school shooting. I'm not going to cover that in this video. I think I'm going to make a separate video on that alone because there's just insane stuff happening about that. Let's see what Trump has said recently.
Us before we even go there. I made the statement that next should be Chicago because, as you all know, Chicago is a killing field right now. And they don't acknowledge it. And they say, we don't need him. Freedom, freedom. He's a dictator. He's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator. I'm not a dictator. I'm a man with great common sense and I'm a smart person. And when
All right. So Trump saying that people want a dictator. Anyways, remember, MAGA claims that Donald Trump is a peacemaker. He's the most peaceful president of all time, hasn't started any new wars. And here we are. He has launched nearly as many airstrikes in 5 months as Biden did in 4 years. The administration has carried out more than 500 bombings so far. Trump has already launched nearly as many airstrikes on foreign nations as Joe Biden did within 4 years. So that is happening. So where are some of those airstrikes happening? Somalia. Somalia sees sharp rise in U.S. airstrikes against ISIS. The U.S. military has launched its most intensive Somalia bombing campaign on record, carrying out more than 50 airstrikes in the country since the start of the year. Okay. So far, there has been 52 airstrikes, and that puts the command on pace to easily eclipse 2019's Donald Trump's own record in 2019 of airstrikes in Somalia. He's about to eclipse it. He's about to break his own streak of 63 airstrikes on Somalia. All right. I also saw a report on Twitter, not sure how true it is, but Kyle Klinsky did report on it, saying that I think they're at 68 airstrikes now. So they actually have surpassed the 63 strike record. And there's still 4 months left in the year. Pretty scary stuff. So obviously, if you've been paying attention, Trump sent the National Guard into DC, and I think a lot of people forgot that he already sent the National Guard to L.A. Right? He already sent the National Guard to L.A. So he sent the National Guard to 2 states now. He's planning on doing it in 19 more cities. And Gavin Newsom, governor of California, like him or hate him, his talking points are direct. They're backed up with evidence and stats. He's really doing a good job, man. And he's also mocking Donald Trump's tweeting, right? And the right thinks that he's copying Donald Trump when the whole time he's just mocking him and how childish he tweets, how immature he tweets, horrible grammar, capitalizing everything. Seems like he's screaming into the phone screen. Yeah, they're just dumb, man. But anyways, let's see what Gavin Newsom said about crime rate in other states.
Here invest in crime suppression. I hope the President of the United States would look at the facts. Just consider Speaker Johnson's state and district. Just look at the murder rate. That's nearly 4 times higher than California's in Louisiana. This Speaker Johnson, 4x higher. I'm just offering, again, you've not seen this on Fox News, so President may not be familiar with these facts. So I want to present some facts to the President of the United States, and imagine this is alarming to the President to learn these facts, particularly Speaker.
Hey, look at his face. Look at his face when he mentions Fox News.
Be familiar with these facts. Again, you've not seen this on Fox News, so President may not be familiar with these facts. So I want to present some facts to the President of the United States, and imagine this is alarming to the President to learn these facts, particularly Speaker Johnson, who's been such a strong partner and ally in these efforts. So the carnage in Louisiana is well defined. Of course, Mississippi leads the nation as the #1 murder state in America. Imagine this in particular may resonate with the President of the United States. It's got a murder rate 180%. 180% higher than Los Angeles. It's interesting. LA has more people. These are all per capita numbers. More people than Los Angeles. Perhaps the president could deploy the National Guard in every corner of Mississippi.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Why? Because this is a political witch hunt. He's just sending the military into cities that are known blue states, right? They're either blue states or they have Democrat mayors or they have Democrat governors, right? He's not probably going to send troops into red states or states with red governors and mayors. probably not going to happen. If he does that, I will be very surprised. He's not actually about solving any crime necessarily. This is all a political witch hunt. It's a political performance, as well as sending in the National Guard. Sure, crime will go down as long as they're there. As soon as you pull them out, the crime is going to go back to what it was. You're not actually solving the problem long term. All Trump is about short term solutions, right? The ticker's going down. He's got 3.5 years left. He's trying to do as much as he can with the time that he has left, right? Hopefully. Let's shift gears towards RFK, drug user, maybe not drug addict, drug user, right? Heroin, and I think cocaine. I'm not trying to demonize people that have done drugs. I just don't necessarily think that means you should be the head of the Health and Human Services. You should not be the secretary of that. Unless maybe you have some sort of degree, right? In medicine, or you have a doctorate degree or something like that. Admitted to having a brain worm, right? Admitting to having a brain worm. He also said it doesn't matter what he thinks about vaccines. He actually said this.
What I would say is my opinions about vaccines are irrelevant.
This was one of the more bizarre things that he has ever said, in my opinion.
I'm looking at kids as I walk through the airports today, as I walk down the street, and I see these kids that are just overburdened with mitochondrial challenges, with inflammation. You can tell from their faces, from their body movements, and from their lack of social connection. And I know that that's not how our children are supposed to look.
What's funny is, honestly, he is somewhat right, because I feel like obesity and overweight in kids is a problem. I would argue that's not great. But also, do you trust this man to tell you what is healthy and what is not healthy? On a related note, the White House says Trump has fired CDC Director Susan Manaras, who actually was appointed this year by Trump, right? Which is kind of funny. He's firing his own people. For the love of God, I hope it's not RFK. If it's RFK, we are fucked. RFK should be nowhere near the CDC. I forgot to say, RFK is a well-known anti-vaxxer. He does not believe in vaccines. He also thinks that vaccines cause autism, right? Which is just a well-known debunked theory. Just a few quick hitters. U.S. bankruptcies hit the highest levels since COVID, since 2020. The U.S. dollar is down 10% since Trump took office. And lastly, FEMA suspends employees who signed letter blasting Trump-era changes to agency. So exactly what did they say? What were they blasting Trump about? The letter accuses President Trump of picking unqualified people to lead FEMA, like probably Kristi Noem and that other guy I can't even think the name of, who thought that, who was, I guess, joking about he didn't know that there was a hurricane season, and criticizes the administration for cutting agencies' workforce and terminating grants meant to help state and local governments harden their infrastructure to mitigate the impact of natural disasters. Yep, I think it was only 15% of FEMA calls were actually answered during that Texas flood, because there just weren't enough staff. And I also think it took FEMA over 48 hours to get to the Texas flood. And that's all I would say, I would argue, falls on Kristi Noem, who recently changed the rule and said anything over $100,000 she has to personally sign off on. So that delayed funding for that Texas flood as well. So that's what I got for today. I will be covering that Christian school shooting and how the right is just unhinged. Every time there's a school shooting, they just have the most unhinged takes. So I'll be covering that. I also just filmed a video about the rise in Christian nationalism. I do want to get into some horror scary games, so if you have any suggestions, put it in the comments. I do this in my spare time, so I really appreciate anybody that is checking my channel out. And if you could subscribe, that would really go a long ways. I want to make everything better. I want to get a new camera, eventually another PC, eventually a game capture, and we can make this better. So that's the plan, man, just to grow. So thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it.